Something historic just happened at the 2025 Paris Air Show. Not loud, not flashy, no flyover, no fireworks, just one sentence quietly delivered that sent shockwaves through global aviation. While cameras were focused on fighter jets, air show theatrics, and the tired Boeing versus Airbus rivalry, China dropped a bombshell that shattered decades of certainty. A COMAC spokesperson stepped forward and said, "The C929 will enter commercial service by 2030, and it will outperform the Boeing 787 and the Airbus A350. No hype, no qualifiers, just confidence." For a moment, the industry went silent. Then chaos erupted. Phones exploded with messages. Executives vanished behind closed doors. Journalists scrambled for confirmation. Analysts froze mid-sip of coffee. Because no one saw this coming. Not at this scale. Not with this level of certainty. And definitely not from COMAC. And if this already has you questioning everything you thought you knew about aviation, hit like, subscribe, and stay with me because what happened next shook Boeing to its core. The real explosion didn't happen on COMAC's stage. It happened minutes later, in an adjacent press hall. Boeing's CEO stepped up to the microphone, just as news of the C929 announcement went viral in real time. Cameras rolling, live streams active, millions watching. Mid-sentence he paused. Blink, shuffle papers. A long silence. His voice cracked. He tried to continue, failed. Then something unthinkable happened. He stepped back from the podium and ended the Q&A early. In that moment, a century of dominance looked fragile. Because this wasn't just another aircraft announcement. This was a geopolitical earthquake. For over 100 years, the global skies belonged to just two names. Boeing, Airbus. They weren't just competitors, they were gatekeepers. Together, they built the tightest industrial duopoly in modern history. Boeing controlled the West. Airbus dominated Europe. Every airline in Asia, Africa, Latin America played by their rules. They set prices. They dictated delivery timelines. They controlled innovation speed. And they built a regulatory wall enforced by the FAA and EASA. If you wanted a long-haul widebody jet, you had exactly two options. Boeing 787, Airbus A350. That was it. No third lane. No alternative. The West called it stability. The rest of the world saw it for what it really was. A monopoly with wings. Then China did something unexpected. They didn't boast. They didn't threaten. They didn't tweet. They built. In 2008, China quietly formed COMAC, the Commercial Aircraft Corporation of China. The unspoken goal? End Western aviation supremacy. For years, the West laughed. They said China was decades behind. They said aerospace was too complex. They said COMAC could never catch up. Then came May 2023. The C919, China's first narrow-body jet, completed its first commercial flight. It wasn't perfect. It still used Western systems. But it flew. It landed. And it carried paying passengers. And suddenly, the joke stopped. Because the C919 proved one thing beyond doubt. China could build. And more importantly, China wasn't stopping. Behind closed hangar doors, COMAC was already working on Boeing's worst nightmare. A long-haul widebody aircraft designed to go head-to-head with the 787 and win. The C919 was just the warning shot. The real weapon was the C929. Originally called the CR929, it began as a China-Russia joint venture. Then geopolitics changed. China took full control. No partners. No compromises. No permission. What emerged was not a Dreamliner copy. It was a purpose-built disruptor. The C929 is designed for ultra-long-haul dominance. Think a New York to Beijing, London to Shanghai, Sydney to Delhi, non-stop, full payload, no compromises. 3 variants, 1 mission, a C929-500, 250 passengers, a C929-600, 280 passengers, a C929-700, 320-plus passengers. But here's what stunned executives. Maximum evacuation capacity, 440 passengers. That's not marketing. That's a direct attack on Boeing and Airbus's market ceiling. Add this 12,000 kilometers range, 5.5-meter cabin width, wider than both rivals. This plane isn't trying to fit the market. It's trying to bend the market around itself. COMAC didn't stop at size. They went for intelligence. Over 50% carbon fiber composites. Another 15% titanium. Less aluminum than Western jets. But the real breakthrough, real-time structural health monitoring. Embedded sensor networks track stress, vibration, fatigue during flight. Problems detected before landing. Maintenance becomes predictive, not reactive. This isn't upkeep. This is survival forecasting. And with 2.2 million components pre-integrated, COMAC / development complexity. While Boeing needs 10 to 15 years per new aircraft, COMAC could soon do it in 5. Then came the shockwave inside the shockwave, the CJ2000 engine. For the first time in history, China built a widebody jet engine from scratch. Not licensed, not copied, not assembled, designed end-to-end. 35 tons of thrust, oversized fan for efficiency, advanced pressure and bypass ratios, and most importantly, zero reliance on GE or Rolls-Royce, no export controls, no IP traps, no lawsuits. The West can't block it. Then engineers noticed something strange. The CJ2000 didn't look purely commercial. Metallurgy similar to stealth bomber turbines. Compressor designs optimized for rapid pressure shifts. Noise suppression beyond civilian needs. Because it isn't just a jet engine. It's a modular military platform. Tankers, EW aircraft, long-range drones, strategic exports. This isn't propulsion. It's a Trojan horse with wings. Any airline that buys the C929 isn't just saving money. They're buying independence. No FAA bottlenecks. No Western political pressure. No supply chain hostage situations. They're plugging into a Chinese aviation ecosystem. Aircraft, engines, financing, airports, maintenance, software, a full-stack alternative to Boeing. Countries like Brazil, Indonesia, Egypt, Nigeria suddenly have options, and that terrifies the West. After Paris, panic set in. Leaked Boeing and Airbus memos, emergency redesign teams, lobbyists deployed, regulators stalling certification, media smears followed, safety concerns, unproven engines, geopolitical risk. But the truth is simple. The duopoly is cracking. Because what China built isn't just a plane. It's a line in the sky. And once the C929 crosses it, global aviation will never be the same again. If you want the next episode covering how this could reshape airlines, ticket prices, and global power, subscribe.